Hey everyone, this is Joanna with the Prosperous agency. We are here with our Monday mantra to inform you always of best ways of purchasing a house or selling a house. And today I will be talking to you about something as shortly as I can, I promise, but it's a very, very important subject. And that subject is really touching what is it exactly that you are signing as a buyer or as a seller. And are you aware of the exclusive buyer agency agreement, or are you aware of the Working with Real Estate Agents brochure? What do all these documents tell you, and when do you actually have to have a buyer agency agreement? So I was put in a very interesting situation not too long ago where I have been working with a buyer for 6 months, and obviously, as I always do, I actually have an initial consultation with the buyer and I explain the process. And not only do I explain the process, but I explain all the documents. Starting with the Working with Real Estate Agents brochure, which explains the types of agencies in North Carolina. That means that, we have the buyer agency agreement. I can be your agent if we have a verbal agreement. However, before placing an offer, there needs to be a signed agency agreement. And I have explained all these documents to my client, or so I thought he was my client. And throughout 6 months, we went back and forth, looked at properties. He was from out of town, obviously not local. And not too long ago, unfortunately, I found out that right at the time when we had started looking at homes together, he had started looking with someone else, and not only did he look with someone else, but he placed an offer. He placed an offer and he didn't read any of the documents. He didn't know that there was an exclusive buyer agency agreement for 6 months. He didn't know that what the property, about the disclosures. He didn't know about Working with Real Estate Agents brochure. So I understand. Not everybody has the time to actually go and read through all the documents, even though I just don't know how that is possible, to be honest with you. As an agent as well, right? I don't know how some agents can just send some documents and not really go through the documents with the clients. And so, as dear as this person became to me within 6 months of working together, I understood and I said, listen, I am not holding grudges. It's just the way it is. I understand you have an agency agreement with someone else, and even though I have explained all the documents, he really didn't connect, and he didn't understand that he had an agency agreement for 6 months that he had signed with someone else. So just wanted to make you aware of the fact that you can look with several agents, you can hire several agents verbally, and obviously, who wants that, right? As an agent, would you want to be driving for 6 months and showing homes for 6 months? I mean, probably nobody would, but as long as you as an agent and you as a client are aware that we are not under any exclusive agency agreement, we are just verbally working together, and if we are a good match, we work together. If we're not a good match, then we don't work together. Everything's fine. There's no strings attached. Nobody actually feels bad if the client and the agent are not a good match, because that can happen, and nobody forces you to write or to sign any agency agreement if it's not necessary, and if not, that's not the case, because ultimately it has to be a great relationship. You need to trust your agent. The agent needs to trust you. There's a lot of emotional investment, right? It's the agent works with the lender. There's an attorney involved. There's a lot of factors that come into place when buying and selling a house. Also, I wanted to touch base on what happens when you go to an open house. let's just go very fast through a scenario. You go to an open house, you walk into the house, the agent that is holding the open house is not the actual listing agent. However, they are a representative of the brokerage that is listing the house. So let's say XYZ Realty is the listing firm. The agent is not the actual listing agent, but he works for XYZ Realty. You go into the house, you are the buyer, and you do not have a buyer's agent. So you haven't signed with any agent and you just fall in love with that house and you decide that you want to put in the offer. The agent says, I'm not the listing agent, but here's the brochure or the property disclosure about the house, just look through it, and you say, you know what, we're in love, we're just gonna put an offer. And the agent says, sure, I actually happen to have some offer documents right here with me. Let's sit down and let's just write the offer. Let's just go through the offer documents together. I will be your buyer's agent. Now you have to remember that the agent that is representing the listing firm needs to have an approval from the seller to actually be a dual agent. At that time, if you decide to use the same agent, even if he's not the listing agent, he's still representing the brokerage, right? XYZ Realty. He's a representative of that company that the seller has an agreement with. He's not your exclusive buyer agent. And you have to be very aware of that he does need to tell you, to explain if he was given prior approval by the seller to be a dual agent, which every company is different and not everybody has the same rules and policies. However, you need to be aware of the fact that that agent is at the current moment representing the seller, and they need to go through the working with real estate agents brochure with you if they are allowed to be representing you as a buyer as well, and so be a dual agent. There's a lot of misunderstanding, and there's also a lot of people that are going to new construction and they're just going to open houses and are not very aware of the rules, regulations. The agents have to follow some rules that are just there for every agent, not just for some particular agents. We really do have to. It's just the law and it's just the way it is. So you as a consumer have to be educated about what's going on, and don't just blindly just say, you know what, maybe we'll get a better deal if we sign with the listing firm. I'm sure we can work something out. It's not always like that. So please be aware of what you are signing. Make sure that you know when the termination agreement, there's a termination, there's a period that is clearly stated in the buyer agency agreement and in the listing agreement. So there's several documents that you need to understand: the types of agency, the period of time that you are actually hiring that agent for, and so on and so forth. These are just very important things. Again, I was in that situation. I have explained this to my client. I don't even go out and show a property unless we sit down for a 1-hour consultation and I go through the working with real estate agents brochure. They understand that I represent them, and then there's an exclusive buyer agency agreement. I send the documents out. Please read the document. Everything is in the document, and then we go through them. You know that before we sign, before you sign everything, we have to have an understanding of what you're signing, and also before we put an offer on any property, that exclusive buyer agency agreement needs to be in place. That being said, I'm going to end my Monday mantra, and if you know of anyone that is interested in buying or selling a house and that might be confused about the agency agreement or the terms of the agency agreement, please contact us. There's absolutely no fees involved for asking us. Actually, you can find a lot of things online without actually having to call us, but we'd love to chat with you and explain everything anytime. Thank you so much. You wanna name with the Prosperous Agency, share the video, look on YouTube. We post them every Monday, so if you have any questions, we are here. And have a beautiful day and have a beautiful week. Bye-bye.